What's going on, guys? Bank Robber Games here with more ADACA Zone Patrol, and last episode when we left off it was a really productive episode. We explored quite a few new areas, got a bunch of artifacts, and also completed a lot of quest steps. So I do highly recommend going back and watching last episode if you haven't seen it, just to make things easier for you to follow this guide. But this episode we're going to have a very short visit to the zone, and we're going to be finally interacting with the Arrowhead 1 bunker we found a long time ago. So last episode we did pick up the flak rifle, and yeah, it seems like it did take a little while to take those enemies out, but you can actually notice there were a lot of them, so you can definitely see how useful it can be in the zone patrol mode, and can make exploring the zone a lot easier, partly because of the amount of ammo we have with it as well. So there's talks here on the radio, well, about the Conflux working on a Berserker prototype. And the free scrappers, for good reason, want to get rid of it. We'll have a good look at Crow now as well. Very cool looking NPC here. And let's just say it's a good thing they're on our side. Well, like I said before, we are just going to want to head to the Arrowhead bunker. Now we've cleared out the area for a minute. And because we've got the radar, right, the radiation suit, radiation sources shouldn't damage us. And I didn't actually see that anomaly there. I'll meet you guys back over by the Arrowhead 1 bunker. No, I do just want to point out that loading screen. Occasionally you do get loading screens like that, which hint at potentially important things. But I'll meet you guys back over at the bunker. So we are back over at the bunker, just the other side of that waterfall. And I'm hoping, thankfully this time we didn't run into any anomalies. In case you missed the earlier episodes, we did pick the Arrowhead code up from the radio, so that's 325174. So we enter that into the keypad. We can then open the bunker, and this for me is where things really sort of grabbed my attention in the zone patrol mode, and I figured out there was quite a lot of stuff to do and find, and again, it's just completely soaked in mystery. So here we do have an artifact, along with this computer entry here. Discussing this weapon, the Phantom Rifle, and this is another weapon that you can use to see through walls and find artifacts. I do find the goggles easier just because they zoom in less, so it means you can look at a bigger area and things can be a little bit less disorientating. You can see artifacts through walls just as the same as you can with the goggles. And yeah, the Phantom Rifle can fire through walls as well. It's an incredibly powerful weapon. It doesn't have the most amount of ammo with it, but the fact that it fires through walls can make it very useful for taking out a lot of targets, especially if you see a group of enemies spawn using your goggles or the scope. As a group, you can fire into them and hopefully take all of them out at once. And if you didn't notice, last episode, this is a weapon we can purchase from Rook over in the South Ridge area, just here. Quite a few journal entries now, different quests, but don't worry, we will make our way through these. But for now, we are just going to quit, and I'm just going to turn our flashlight on to show off something I did show off at the end of last episode. How when you leave Zone Patrol and then start it up again, you can see our flashlight is back on again. So it does consider it like the same play session, if that makes sense. Going completely the wrong way. We're going to want to select Operation Arrowhead. It says maintains a large enemy garrison, expects heavy resistance. Deploy Sergeant Lexi Abrams, supported by unit Kodak, heavy assault droid. And again, we're just going to be playing this on normal without any modifiers. Not really given much direction other than figure it out. Very, very cool. Then we're going to want to gear up for starting this mission, and it can be quite tough, similar to the Operation Earhorn that we did earlier, but it's one of the reasons why I recommend buying the flak rifle, because it'll make some of the encounters much, much easier. See Kodak down there with the rocket rifle. And right on the landing platform there is an artifact, and you might notice as well there is the data cache just there, but we won't come across the reader until a little bit later on, so we won't worry about that for now. Somehow both those things didn't have the effects of this that I wanted them to. I do like the soundtracks to this mission as well. Sometimes like a swarm of enemies does come out of this building, you can just rely on this gas tank to take them out pretty reliably. Not doing too well with using the environment here. Seems like they're all focused on Kodak at the moment. Makes our job much easier. But in this building, there is an artifact, just as we come in behind that green shipping container. See, there is this very strange floating crystal here. Yeah, the soundtrack is awesome. The way the god rays from the sun is coming in looks really, really cool as well. But just here, there are a couple of artifacts in this tent. Here is the data cache reader, which, given where we are, we're definitely going to want to pick up. And something that I didn't point out is that this is actually where we came out of with the Arrowhead bunker. There was the artifact in the bottom corner there. And until you progress the mission, enemies don't actually spawn in, so you should be pretty safe. Still recommend toughening up on health, though. More mentioning of coral snake here. Again, very mysterious. little bit of information about this object. Again, this symbol here, we've seen quite a few times. Just talking about securing the artifact. A bunch of enemies are coming in. I'm not sure where Kodak is. I think that's him there. He seems to be doing a pretty good job at holding them at bay. Should make things a bit easier for us. But another reason we want to get the flak rifle, they spawn in a little bit faster than I remembered, is a couple of those heavy drones do come in. Normally they do sort of fly down. Seem to be staying up there for some reason. Thankfully the dropship has come in to save us. And we don't need to climb up to it or anything. We can just get picked up automatically. And just as when we completed Operation Earhorn, get told to report to the rear observation deck for another debriefing. Nice amount of background information there. Very, very cool. It does start letting you sort of piece together what's actually going on in the zone and the background of all the, you know, everything going wrong basically, and the anomalies and Savlo's involvement with everything, which I think is very, very cool. But heading back into Zone Patrol, we're just going to come over to the basement that we found the first episode that did have the code lock door, and basement 535. If we look on our journal, we did buy a codex entry, basement 535, so it does give us a code 47217. And that allows us to open the door. In this room there are a couple of artifacts, a weapons chest along with tier 3 card security card, so it does mean we can access pretty much every area we want to now in the zone, along with another codex entry. And this is talking about Project Golem. Doesn't give us all that much information, but it does hint at something we'll learn about more in the future of this series. Now we need to head back over to the dish. Easiest way to do that is head to the storm drain. And once we're at the storm drain, we can head through it to the dish, obviously. Oh, I didn't realise there was an artifact there. But if you look at the comms on the bottom, hopefully we should get the message again. After we complete Arrowhead 1, periodically the mercenaries will send a group of robots at you, and they've spawned in just here. Yeah, Hunter-Killer, the Mercs have sent a team of assassin droids to take you out. Keep your guard up. And you can tell it's the assassin's droid because they have the pulse pistols on them. They're not quite tough, so I would actually recommend using the flak rifle on them, and that is them taken out, because we do have the save symbol in the bottom right there. But yeah, you don't really get any reward taking them out. It's just periodically they will send these droids out after you. They're very, very cool. Something that I didn't actually point out is that after completing Arrowhead 1, you do get Kodak as a companion, and they'll spawn in as we enter the dish. We need to worry about those anomalies a lot less now we have our radiation suit. There you can see Kodak has spawned in, and he's a pretty cool companion. A lot of the time he does just have like an assault rifle on him, but sometimes he will spawn in with more advanced weaponry, like the rocket rifle he had as we did the Arrowhead 1 mission. Now we're going to try and enter the concrete forest, and we do it exactly the same like we did in the campaign, but we can tell it's another area of interest within Zone Patrol because it has been pointed. We have been pointed in the direction of going there a couple of times through data cache entries, along with a debriefing we had after doing Operation Earhorn. And the code is on the bunker entrance, and it's the same as the campaign, just 8686. You see it worked because we have the save symbol there on the bottom right. Now I am just going to go get the flamingo weapon chest, see if anything interesting spawns. Didn't get very lucky that time. And if you haven't purchased the body armor upgrade, I do highly recommend picking it up here. Just because of the fact that we're entering the concrete forest. And you can hear Kodak beeping away there. I swear that anomaly wasn't there until we jumped up. And I'm going to pick up the tank gun just to make taking out the enemies in the concrete forest a bit easier, especially considering we haven't got much health. No, we're not going to get lucky. Here is the entrance to the concrete forest. And sometimes enemies can spawn down here, I think. And you don't actually have to use ladder, you can just jump down, because you do enter a transition. And just like the main game, there are two the berserker enemies, which is why I recommend taking out the tank gun. It does do a lot of damage to make it easy to take them down. Obviously you want to keep them away from you. And just use the tank guns to take them out. There are a couple of artifacts for us to find in the concrete forest. There is the ladder in which we came down. Just up here in this train car there is one artifact. Using our goggles we'll be able to see that there is another artifact. Not sure why the ladder broke for us. And just like in the main game, there is this Forsaken Idol, but they've got a little bit more useful information for us this time. Did get a couple of updates to our quest log there. Getting asked to find a AI transfer drive, and you can get information on this in Junction 6 on the terminal in the green building. More mentioning of the coral snake as well. They're mentioning of going on beneath the haunt. And this is an area that we won't visit for a little while though. In here, just the same as the campaign, there is a vent, but this time there is an artifact waiting for us, along with a cube head enemy, but we're not going to worry about taking them out because there doesn't really seem to be anything you can do with them. But looking at how long this episode has been, I think here's a pretty good place to wrap it up. And next episode we will head over back to the haunt and do some more investigation there, and hopefully after that we'll enter some new areas as well. Again, I feel like we've got quite a lot done this episode and the series is progressing at a nice pace. I hope it's been easy for you guys to follow as well, but if not, feel free to leave any comments down below if you have any questions and I'll talk to you about them there. Also, if there's anything you think I've missed or any extra information you can give me, please also leave comments below because then I can add it into this guide and make it more complete. That's always appreciated. Overall, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and been enjoying the series so far and also been finding it useful. If you have been enjoying the series and been finding it useful, please make sure to like and subscribe for more, and then that way you won't miss out on the rest of this guide. But thanks again for watching. I always appreciate having you guys here, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.